What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Married to Medicine, Season 8, Episode 11. So we start this episode off. We have Toya at home. You know, poor, what's his name? What's her husband's name? I'm trying not to call him what Spilly Boy be calling him. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Toya husband. I don't want to call him that name. But he tired. You know you tired when you tired going to work. And Toya has the nerve to say, how you tired going to work? You ain't even been to work yet. Because I got to work all the time and pay for all of this that you got here. The house and the Porsche and the designer and the 2-story closet and the pool and all that other stuff. Oh, yeah, and by the way, we in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, I'm tired. Damn. And then we see that she's like, a lot of people are jealous of me right now because I have this, I have that. My kids are back in school. They're this, they're this, they're that. Listen. Then she's helping her kids with her homework. And Toya did something that grinds my gears. It absolutely irritates my soul. I cannot stand when an adult involves children and adult business. She's talking to him about Heavenly and how Heavenly don't know how to keep her mouth shut. And he even had to tell her, that's not funny. Why are you talking to your child about adult issues that you have with Dr. Heavenly? Now, when he get ready to disrespect Dr. Heavenly, then you're going to want to have something to say to him. But you opened up the door. You opened up the door. Now, as far as her relationship with the women, she can't seem to understand why it's bad. And she wants it to get better. And my thing is this. If the common denominator is you, then maybe you need to look at what's going on with you and these women. If you are having problems with Heavenly, Quad, now Anila, who was your ace, who you brought on the show, who that was your girl, you got to really look in the mirror and ask some hard questions and say, well, what is it that maybe I'm doing or not doing? I don't know what's going on with Toya, but Toya, you have been foul since this season started. I mean, going back to the first episode, you was cussing people out. So I don't know what your issue is. I don't know what your problem is. I don't know why you got issues with these people. But you clearly do. Moving on. Then we have Simone with Miles. Now listen. I absolutely, I feel like I understand where Simone is coming from with Miles. You know, I think her biggest fear is that she wants him to go to college and graduate and move in that direction, which is of course the area that her and Cecil did. They went to college. They, she went on to, medical school. Maybe he got a master's. I don't know. And it afforded you guys a really good lifestyle. And so what you see is that is the path to a really good lifestyle. And what you don't want is you don't want Miles to get complacent. He went to college. It didn't work out. You want him to go back. So what you don't want him to do is you don't want him to get complacent. You want to give him sort of that real world experience so that he goes back to school. And I understand it. First of all, let's understand that that's not the only way. That's not the only way. Like, going to college, getting a degree is not the only path to being successful. It just isn't. I don't know what Miles wants to do. We've not explored that. But let's assume for a moment he does want to go back to school. And what Simone is saying is, listen, you're going to work, you're going to save your money, you're going to live within a budget. And if we are still sitting in this place next year, then we're going to have to reevaluate some things. Meaning, if you haven't gone back to school, if you haven't moved into your own place, if you haven't moved from a job to a career, then we need to reevaluate. And I understand it. I do. And I feel like with Cecil on the other side, who's like, he can just live here forever. We can just be roommates and bunk buddies. And no. Listen. Listen. I remember I was a college graduate living. I was still living in North Carolina, and I decided I wanted to move back home. And I called my mama, and I said, "Can I move home?" And I already had a job before I moved back to DC. My sister, she was her second year of college, and she decided, you know what, this ain't where I want to be. This ain't what I want to do. And before she called my parents to tell them that she was leaving school, she already had a job, because we already knew what the expectation was going to be. And my sister went back to school, and did all of that or whatever. Um, but we knew what the expectation was for us. And I don't think Simone is wrong for putting an expectation on Miles and a time limit. Because you saw what he said. He was like, when he said something about getting an apartment, and he was expecting that um they were gonna pay for the apartment. And she was like, Miles, we're not paying for your apartment. And he was like, oh, but I'm just gonna stay here then. No, 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 you're not. No, sir. No, 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 no. Oh, that wasn't an option. That wasn't an option. You staying here wasn't an option. This is temporary, sir. And so I think Simona's gonna have to play bad cop to Cecil's good cop in this one, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But I think what we do need to stress, and when I say we, I mean producers or Simone, it doesn't all have to look the same. And Cecil did say that everybody's path is a little different. Anyway, so now we have Anila and Lisa Nicole. Anila goes to Lisa Nicole's boutique, tries on some clothes. They decide that, Lisa Nicole is going to advertise with Anila. On her blog. It was, first of all, she said her prices. I found it interesting because it really wasn't as expensive as I would have expected it to be. I mean, I don't know how you set your price point. Like, I don't know if you say, well, for this many followers, I charge this. For this many followers, I charge this. Like, I don't know if there's like a Instagram price point suggested, but it just seemed like her prices weren't that expensive. But Lisa Nicole was like, girl, I'm here for it. Put me on your, post me on your Instagram, and this is my fee, and this, that, and the other. Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Then they sit down and they get to talking, and you got Anila talking to Lisa Nicole about Toya and how she feel about the fact that Toya is telling her business, and she's, in her feelings about it. And Lisa Nicole is like, well, you need to just talk to Toya. You need to talk to her. Quad calls while they're sitting there talking to invite Anila to her house she's having a quarantine party, honey. A girls' night in situation. And Lisa Nicole sitting there talking about something. Can I come too, Quad? And you hear Quad's hesitation. Quad is like, oh. Okay. But she said she can come because, they didn't have the best relationship when Lisa Nicole was on the show before, honey. But she said, yeah, girl, you can come as long as you know how to act when you come up in my house, okay? Because I will put you out, okay? Now we have Scott and Contessa. We find out that Contessa has a little condition which keeps her edges thin, and that they do this procedure where Scott infuses the stuff in the right area to get the hair follicles rejuvenated so that her edges get to growing. Now, while they're going through this process, she's talking to Scott about their marital issues and how hard it is for her to juggle everything, and how she always feels tired, and she always feels like everything is on her to do everything, and she just feels so like they're not where they need to be. And Scott brought up a good point. Scott said, well, you came to me talking about starting a business and signing a lease. I thought that was a good indication that we were in a good place. You want to work with me all day and be with me all day at home. Like, I thought that was a pretty good indication. You want to start a business with me that you ain't going nowhere no time soon. And I was like, you know what? With that kind of logic, that actually makes sense, Scott. Like, when you think of it like that, that actually, yeah, I see where you would come from with that. And then she was just like, well, Well, we've always done that. We've been able to work together and then come home and fight, but stay professional at work. And I'm like, but again, all the more reason why you wouldn't want to create a situation where y'all are together all damn day. Now, at the end of the day, what it boils down to is she wants to go back to therapy. Scott doesn't feel like they need therapy. He said, listen, I don't feel like we need to go to a third party to tell us how to talk to each other. And her thing is, well, clearly we do, because we don't know how to talk to each other. Now, he said he would go back to therapy, and she said to him, but you don't really mean it. Well, listen, you know what? This is what I can't do. I can't convince you. He said he would go, woman. Shut up and make the appointment. Because you got him on tape saying he would go. So just shut up and make the appointment. Maybe, and the thing about therapy that I think people don't understand or realize is that everything is not a one-stop shop. There are, just like you can shop around for doctors, you go to a doctor and they don't have the bedside manner you need them to have, or they don't have what you need them to have, then guess what? You move on to the next person. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it takes a while, and it's hit or miss. But it's the same thing with therapy. You go to a therapist and it ain't working for you. Guess what? It's a whole yellow pages. I know I'm dating myself when I say yellow pages. But there's a whole yellow pages full of people with MDs that can do whatever it is you need for them to do. So, Scott, if that first therapist y'all went to, you weren't feeling it, you didn't feel like that it was helping you, or maybe you felt like you were the punching bag, then guess what you need to do? Y'all need to go back and find somebody else. And maybe you need to be proactive in it. But at the end of the day, clearly, if y'all keep doing what y'all doing, I mean, we know what the definition of insanity is. Now, Quad is getting ready for her party, honey. Listen, Quad wants to show off that house because she said these people keep talking about my house ain't yet. So I need to let them know that I got a 4-story townhouse with an elevator so that they can understand. Okay? And we see her decorating her house, honey. She climbing up on that ladder with them stilettos on there. You know better than that. She about to break her damn neck. You know better than that. Jackie and Simone are getting ready over to Jackie's house. Simone. Dr. Simone, can I get that crossbody you was carrying? Because that was cute. That crossbody you had was cute, girl. It was cute. Can you send it to me? You don't need it no more. You ain't gonna wear it no more. Can I get it? I'm just saying. Anyway. They get to talking, and Dr. Jackie and Simone get to talking about Toya, and kind of talking about how Toya, and why Toya feels the way she feels. And Simone said, well, she just sort of feels like that unsupported by the rest of the group, that she's got this great house and she's got a lot of things going for her, and she just doesn't feel like she's supported by the rest of the group. And I'm thinking to myself, but it goes both ways. You don't feel supported by the group, but it goes both ways. And then they show Toya at her house getting dressed, talking about, I don't want to wear this outfit and waste this good outfit. I don't know if it's good enough. And my thing is, well, you already walking into this with a stank ass attitude. Like, you are anticipating that this is going to be a problem, and you got a stank attitude from the door. It is what it is. So then we have, so then everybody's going to the party. Anila and, Dr. Heavenly done rolled together, honey. They really bonded, honey. We got Lisa Nicole and came through. No, they didn't ride together. I'm sorry. Dr. Heavenly didn't ride with Anila. But they were all there together. And Dr. Heavenly talking about something. I like Anita. Anita is cool. You mean Anila? Now, y'all know I'm the last person to correct somebody on names, but I just thought I'd bring it up since it happened on the show. Now, I ain't mad at you, Dr. Heavenly, because, y'all know I'll fuck up a name, okay? All the time. I probably done fucked up a name in this review and don't even know I did it. So, I ain't even judging you. Hell, I couldn't even remember Toya's husband's name at the beginning of the video. I still don't remember. I'm really trying not to call him Grimace. And that's what keeps popping in my head. And I know that man's name ain't Grimace. Okay? That's the problem. Okay? But moving on. Dr. Heavenly was very polite to Lisa Nicole when she came through. You know, I like Lisa Nicole's little outfit. She be hit or miss for me sometime. But her outfit was cute. I like it. It was like a little half tuxedo suit thingy going on. I don't know. It was cute. But the ladies are all there. You know, Quad got the drinks and all that good stuff going out, going around, and you know all that good stuff. She got food. You know, Quad know how to throw down a meal, honey. So Quad, you know, she is advertising because I'm sure she made all of it, and I'm sure it's in her book. Okay, but she had some cute stuff going, and the ladies are eating, and everything is everything, and it's all good. Now Quad is getting ready to explain the first game that they getting ready to play, and who come rolling in there late? Take a guess. Toya. And with a +1. Listen. Now I'm going to say the same thing about this that I said about the situation in DC with people just adding +1s on a private jet. You don't +1 to someone's home without permission. You just don't do it. That's rude. If I invite, and you know what, and I'll be honest, I did that one time and I felt so bad after the fact that I just invited somebody to a friend of mine's home because in my mind I was like, well, I don't think they would mind. You know, we had and I'm gonna tell you what it was. I'm gonna tell you, well, this video running long, but real quick, it was a watch party for Obama's inauguration, the first one. It was cold as you know what here in DC, so I didn't go. A lot of y'all was down there, and that's great. I watched it on TV, okay. And I took a friend of mine to the watch party, and I thought about it after the fact, and I called my friend back and I apologized for showing up with a +1 without consulting her first. Now it wasn't an issue and she didn't make a big deal about it, but I wanted her to know that I thought about it after the fact and I was rude. And Toya, you can't just keep showing up at people's house with +1s. And then Carrie gonna come in as the +1 and try Quad, talking about this is a really nice place here. Yeah, I bought a place like this as a rental property, but it didn't have an elevator. And y'all know Miss Quad gave it back to her. Miss Quad said, well, that's the difference of about $30,000. I was like, y'all be doing the most. Like, how you gonna be uninvited and then try to shade that woman in her own damn house? Just rude. So anyway, child, Quad puts them in two groups and she gives them this dance competition where they have to incorporate a dance into the competition. Now the first group had to do this twerk thing. The second group had to do some other little two-step situation. The first group had Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie, and both of them self-admittedly can't dance. Now, what I thought was funny was Dr. Simone was like, can't we just do the electric slide? And in my mind, I was like, y'all absolutely can do the electric slide and add that little twerk move in there, because if anybody has been to any black barbecue, cookout, wedding, anniversary, retirement party, funeral, whenever the electric slide is on, it is always that one person that adds whatever they want to add to the damn electric slide. You can add it in the twist turn, you can add a low dip, you can add a twerk, okay? So y'all absolutely could have done the electric slide with a little twerk action, okay? The second group had Lisa Nicole, Contessa, Carrie, and I don't even remember who the other person was. And they was offbeat from the dough. Lisa Nicole, do you not trust nobody up in that house? Because why did you feel the need to do your dance move with your purse on? You couldn't put the purse down? Couldn't put the purse down for the dance? Okay. So that already, I was just sitting there like, why she got her purse on? Why they trying to do this choreography? Anyway, Dr. Simone group won, so that should let you know how bad the other group was, that you got two people that admit that they can't dance and they team won. That should let you know how bad the other group was. Anyway, it was cute. It was a good kiki. So then afterwards, Quad invites everybody to come upstairs to, sit out on the terrace and have some cocktails. I have a girlfriend who has a house like this. I mean, she don't have the elevator, okay? But she has a house like this where it's a 5-story townhouse, and on the top floor it has a terrace. And we go up there. We have our little cocktails, too. It's really nice. So they get out there, And they get to talking, and Dr. Heavenly throws out there, well, Toya been talking shit. She called this she called this a little ass apartment, and we all see that it ain't a little ass apartment. Now, Heavenly was being messy as hell, but Heavenly was doing what Heavenly does. I don't know why y'all keep expecting anything different from Heavenly. Was it messy? Yes. Was she starting shit? Yes. Did it get the whole scene popping? Sure it did. And then she sat back and watched the fireworks. Now, Toya ended up getting into an argument with Quad. And Toya was like, I know she ain't mad about that live I did. I mean, look, I was drunk. So here's the thing. Stop right there. You were drunk. So what you should have done was apologize to Quad and say, girl, I was a little tipsy. I said some things. I was being shady. And I feel like that would have been the end of the whole argument. But you sitting here trying to figure out why Quad has been shading you and making little smart comments, because Quad don't forget nothing. And you came for Quad, and you came after what Quad had. And instead of just acknowledging it and saying you was wrong and you was out of pocket, you stood 10 toes down in it and act like Quad didn't have no reason to be mad and have an attitude. And then they got to arguing, and so she ended up rolling out of there, and she crying outside, and ain't nobody follow her except for Dr. Simone, and then Contessa eventually came out there. But here, you know who didn't follow her? The bitch she came with. Carrie. You weren't even invited, ma'am. When Toya got ready to leave, you should have been outside with Toya. How do you not leave when the person you came with leaving and you won't even invited? How do you not leave? The hell? If you don't get your... Because see, Quad better than me. I told Carrie, your ride leaving. Your ride. She outside. Waiting for her Uber. You should be out there with her. They tried to come for Dr. Heavenly, and Heavenly was like, what? She said it. She said it. And, again, I agree. I feel where Quad is coming from. If you really want, where Dr. Heavenly is coming from, if you want to know the truth of the matter. Was it messy? Sure. But my thing is, Toya, you said it. And you've been acting like you don't understand why people got a problem with you. But at the end of the day, it's not everybody else. It's not. It's not everybody else. You have to take some responsibility for what you have done and the situations that you have created with these women. Anyway, child, that was the episode. That was pretty much where it ended. You know who else ain't go outside? Anila. And Toya had the nerve to talk about something. She not even out here. She's supposed to be my friend. Well, Anila said you've been icing her out ever since y'all went to the party over to Jackie's house, that you ain't call her. You don't text her. She ain't heard from you. So that's what you thought she was going to follow you outside. You been treating her like shit. Anyway. Y'all, that's it. That's all. This ran long because I was running my mouth. But it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.